Hello everyone. Today we'll discuss about Docker. So to understand more about Docker, we'll try to keep it very simple so that even the beginners can understand. So we'll go with the structure of why is Docker, what is Docker, and how is Docker. So why is Docker? I believe most of you guys have worked in the IT companies, so more often we see that developers develop new applications or they upgrade or update the existing applications. So we tend to hear this discussing that the specific feature, the specific new feature, or the entire application is not working in the specific environment. But the developers claim that the same specific feature or the same application is working used to work in their lower environments or in the development environments. So this appear to be very easy and simple and small to hear. Okay, that it's not working in one environment, but the developers claim that it had worked for them when they developed and tested in their local machine or in the development environment. And then to fix this, developers, DevOps engineers, ops engineers sit together and try to troubleshoot and fix the issue at the earliest. But it takes hours together, sometimes days together, and weeks together as well. So it hampers the application, and more often we tend to lose the customers as well, and it might lead to a big impact too. So to resolve this, so why does that happen? Because we have several environments developers use to um, test the application in the lower environment in their local machine, and we have different configurations, different environments. So the setup, so the configuration might be same or might not be the same. So due to which the application or some features especially doesn't work in other environments wherein it works in one environment. So to resolve this, so this is why Docker has come into the picture. So now we'll see what is Docker. Okay, so the Docker is a containerization platform assembling or packaging application and its dependencies. Okay, meaning, for example, if we are setting up the Facebook application, so the Facebook application and its dependencies, it might be the other softwares or the other tools which required for the Facebook application to run. So all that be put together in one tarball, and we run that application in a containerization platform. Okay, so we'll see what is a containerization in a while. But after that, how is Docker? Okay, so how Docker is resolving this huge issue of platform dependency, meaning an application is running in one environment and is not in the other environment. So how the Docker resolves is that we will have something called Docker file. This Docker file consists of list of instructions for that application to run. Okay, the list of instructions can be the base image, meaning the base software. For example, if it is the Java based application, so it will have the instructions to use the Java, some Java image and some settings, some configurations, and it will start the process. So basically, it consists of the list of instructions. We'll see more about the Docker file, how we can write the Docker file. We'll see some simple Docker files and the complex Docker files in the upcoming lectures. So for now, just try to understand that this Docker file is a list of instructions for an application to run. Out of this Docker file, we create a image. We'll create a Docker image. Okay, and out of the Docker image, we'll create Docker containers. Container is a nothing but a small server for us. Okay, so how Docker is resolving this platform independency issue is that the Docker image which we create, uh, out of which when we create a container and run the container in the development environment, for example, we use the same working Docker image for the production environment as well. Meaning, what is required to understand over is that we are using the same image in the development environment and in the production environment as well. So with which we are not changing anything in the application and anything in the attributes or in some cases the configurations as well. In some cases, if there are very little or generic configurations across all the environments, we can mention them as a part of the Docker file. If there are environment specific Docker configuration, we maintain them separately out of the Docker file. But usually, what I mean to say is that so the working same Docker image would be used across all the environments, the development, pre-production, staging, and the production. So with which the chances of working a specific feature or an application in one environment and not working in the other environment would be reduced a lot. So this is the way how Docker is resolving the platform independency gap or an issue. Okay. So what is a containerization? So before the containerization, we used to have a concept of virtualization. Okay. So we used to have a concept of virtualization. Virtualization. Okay. So what is a virtualization? Setting up a computer over the base computer is a virtualization. Meaning if you see this picture, okay, how does this look? This is the structure of the virtualization. This is the structure of a containerization. So if you see this structure, so what are we doing is that over the base computer we are setting up other computers as well. We can say that, right? Over the base computer, we are completely installing the other operating system. Let's say if the base computer is of Windows, we are setting up Linux over here, Ubuntu over here, and Windows over here. Okay, since we are setting up the complete operating system over here. So this concept of the virtualization becomes very huge. Okay, this is a way how the virtualization or the virtual machines looks over the base computer. We set up several others computer based on the hardware capacity of the base computer. The number of the virtual machines may vary. Okay, so what was the drawback of the virtualization was since we were setting up the almost the entire or whole operating system, so this used to become very huge, very bulky, and it used to take a lot of time to boot up this application. It used to take a lot of time to boot up the application, and even the deployment structure, the running of the application used to be slow. We used to face the latency issues over here as well. Okay, so this is really a big problem. We cannot have a latency in the production environment. We cannot have slowness. We cannot have slow boot up of our production servers. So to resolve this big issue, we have a containerization in picture. Okay, if you see the difference between these two pictures, the only difference is that the only major difference is that indeed is we don't have the complete operating system over here. Over the base machine, we have Docker engine or the container engine. Over that, we are setting up several containers. Yeah, and in each container we are just setting up or installing only the required binaries and the libraries for this application, only the binaries and the libraries which are required for this application to run. So with which this container or this concept of the containerization becomes very simple, very easy, and very easy to maintain. So these containers are very lightweight in nature or very light in nature, which is very easy to maintain, easy to run, easy to set up as well. So this is what the containerization is. So we'll see. So before the virtualization, also there were few more types of the machines we should have. We used to have. So we'll see quickly what is the shift in the technology. Okay. So in 90s we used to have mainframes in picture, the big machines for a single application to run. So we shifted from mainframe to personal computers. Yeah, and in 2000s we shifted from personal computers to virtualization. So over back in those days, this virtualization was a big game changer, and it resolved several issues for us, because before that we we used to set up only one application to run in this one computer, eating up the lot of memory, hard disk, and the CPU utilization. There was no concept of scaling, portability, so on and so forth. But because of this virtualization, so most of the issues have been resolved. But as we say, every tool, every software, every technology would have some drawback, and it will lead for the up in the technology. And in the 2010s, we moved from virtualization to cloud. We know that back in 2010, AWS has started its journey. AWS has started in the 2010, and now what we have in the market is containerization. Okay, containerization, so which we just saw. So this is how the Docker has resolved the flaws or issues of the virtualization. So we'll quickly see the advantages of Docker in the real-time environment. In the real-time environment. Okay. So there are several advantages of Docker. That is the reason today almost all the companies, all the applications being moved to Docker, breaking down the huge applications into the containers. Okay. So the first and foremost advantage is platform independent. Okay, as we just discussed, that is one of the advantages of the Docker. Yeah, if an application is running in one environment, 99.99% it also runs in the other environments. So the platform independent is very important, and it resolves the issue of platform dependent. And then build and release, build and configure release. Okay, so we build the application only once, most likely in the lower environment, in the development environment. Okay, um, with which the build and release or the build and configuration happens only once. We don't have to worry to build an application for each environment or for each platform, because we use the same Docker image across all the environments. We may retag it. We'll see about that as well. But otherwise, we use the same Docker image, out of which we run the container. So we use the same Docker image across all the environments. So there is no concept of building or configuring an application for each environment separately. And isolation. If you see this Docker image, okay, so assume this ship has one base computer, and over that we have containers. Okay, let's say this is the Facebook application, and over that we have login container, admin container, some advertisement container. So these containers are glued together indeed, and these container communicate each other to serve one particular request, but these containers are isolated. Meaning, if this login container have some issues during the deployment, it doesn't affect the admin container. These containers run separately. So this is one of the important or game-changing concept of Docker. Otherwise, in those days, so this without the containerization concept or without the microservices concept, if this entire thing is one application, if there is an issue in login login module or the login concept, so that would have had affected the entire application. So the entire application used to go down, so which was very weird in nature. But with the help of Docker, we have isolation in place. So these containers, although they connect each other to serve a one particular request, they work independently. So we have isolation concept or the advantage in the Docker. And then portability, meaning this working container or these running containers can be shipped from one machine to another machine in the real time example. Trust me, they there would be the requirement to move the working container from one machine to another machine. So with the Docker container, there is a possibility to move the containers from one machine to another machine and fulfill our requirements. And then version control. since we have this image, okay, so we store this image in some repositories. We can store this image in Docker Hub. We can store this image in AWS ECR, Elastic Container Registry. There is a hub in Azure as well and in IBM as well. So we maintain the versions of this image, meaning image dot one, image dot image dot 2 or image dot 1.1, 1.2, so on and so forth. So we can maintain the versions of these images. So we have a version control over here. So with which we would understand what were the changes we made in image 1.2, what were the changes were there in image 1. Okay, with which it becomes quite easy for us as well to roll back to the particular version. So we have an advantage of version control in the Docker as well. And one another important benefit of Docker is productivity. Since developers doesn't have to worry that this application is not working in the specific environment, because we are resolving that with the help of Docker. So developers don't have to worry about the platform dependency, and even the DevOps doesn't have to worry about setting up the application and ensuring that it's working smooth in the other environment, right? So the productivity has really increased for us. Okay, so this is about Docker. So what is a Docker in a very layman language? It's a containerization platform wherein we are packaging application and its dependencies. There would be some dependencies like configuration and all required to execute this application. Hope you understood this concept of Docker, and in the upcoming lectures, we'll talk more about the Docker. What are the various concepts we have in Docker? What is the architecture of Docker? And we'll also see in practical how we can write the Docker file, how we can create a Docker image out of this file, how we can run the containers, what are the Docker volumes, what sort of network we have in Docker, so on and so forth. Until then, please take care. Thank you.